Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the Story Nook. Today we're going to be diving into Tales from Your Server, and probably a couple of other ones. Yeah, Tales from the Front Desk and such. But we're going to be diving into tales from our workers that we have. So go ahead, grab your tea, your coffee, your hot cocoa, whatever it is you want, and join me as we read these stories today. Our first story is from user Runner Megan 1859. I had nothing to say. I work at a local pizza slash burger place. I am a server and a bartender. So I will take tables and then hop behind the bar to make drinks also. Last night, a woman at the bar ordered a Grey Goose and cranberry from me. A few minutes later, she told me she had a complaint, and told me her drink did not have Grey Goose in it. I looked at her confused, and she said, "This is clearly a lower quality vodka, and I can tell because of the aftertaste." I said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. You saw me pick up the Grey Goose and make it for you." "No, I can tell the difference between top shelf and cheap liquor. Top shelf shouldn't have an aftertaste. This has an aftertaste." Personal note from me, I'm pretty sure most liquor has a burning aftertaste. Being it top shelf or not, but whatever. "Okay, do you want me to make you something else?" "No, this is fine. I just should have bought well liquor if that's what you were going to serve me. It's obvious that this place pours low-quality vodka into the Grey Goose bottles to save money." I was really caught off guard, honestly. I didn't know what to say at all. I'm not one to be shy to respond to customers, but for some reason, it made me really mad right away. I could feel my face heating up, and I just couldn't think of a way to handle it. I was speechless at first. Asked her if she just wanted something else instead. She said no and drank it. I charged her full price because I know damn well that was Grey Goose. I opened the bottle myself, and she drank the whole thing and didn't ask for anything else. She left upset that I charged her for it, and I got $0 on a $45 tab. The lady was bitchy, and I don't think the lady knows what actual liquor tastes like. Just gonna put that out there. Our next story comes from Tales from the Front Desk, and it's posted by user Magical Entity. If you tell us not to clean your room won't be clean. Should be simple, right? A very angry guest came to me at the front desk around 2 p.m. Apparently, we didn't clean his room for 2 days in a row. Of course, I apologized profusely and told him I'd have housekeeping up in his room within 20 minutes tops. I've offered him to go to the restaurant and enjoy a nice cup of coffee and a piece of cake on the house while we get his room ready. When I talk to housekeeping, I get the real story. Turns out this guy had a "Do Not Disturb" sign up all morning and noon. He had removed it less than 15 minutes before he came down to me to complain. The day before, it had been there the whole day. No wonder nobody had gotten his room clean. When he came back from the restaurant, I politely asked if he would know when he would want us to clean his room tomorrow so I could have housekeeping on standby. For some reason, that made him blow up. He yelled at me that he is paying good money for the room and therefore housekeeping should always be ready to clean his room when he wanted it. That it was our job, after all. I was so perplexed that I could only apologize again, which seemed to appease him. Luckily, he only stayed for 2 more nights and didn't have the sign up the next morning, so I didn't have one of my colleagues stand in front of his room until His Majesty decided that now was the one and only acceptable time to clean his room. I feel like I might have read this story already, which is kind of weird. But we're gonna continue forward. I feel like I read these. What do I feel? No, I didn't read all of these, so we'll just continue on. I'm just like, I feel like I read this story. But Mr. Highness clearly does not know how, like, hotels work. From my understanding of hotels, is they will, like, these workers, they have shifts. And so, like, you have, like, morning, afternoon, and evening shift, or whatever. And they clean these rooms on, like, a specific cycle, and yada yada. So to just sit there and demand your room be clean whenever you want is kind of stupid. But our next story is going to be from Tales from Tech Support. Posted by user GlassShelter7396. They are cutting power to the server room today. I've been out of the office for about a month, so the day-to-day happenings, such as construction, desk moves, etc., have not been communicated to me. This morning I got to the office at 7:30 a.m., and one of the facility guys comes to me and casually says the electricians are cutting the power to the server room sometime today. Enter panic mode now. I state that they can't just turn off the power to the data center. There is a process that needs to happen for downtime. People need to be notified. Other buildings need to prepare for continued manufacturing without access to work orders. I start messaging management asking what the hell is happening. Management asks if we can run on the generator while power is off. I have no answer for that, so I run off to find the facilities manager and electricians to ask. The electrician informs me they did not need to turn off the electricity in the server room, that they turned off the electricity for a small portion of the front office, just long enough to move the breaker up a row so they can install the breakers for the new AC unit, and that they have already done it and my data center is safe. If anyone needs me, I will be hiding under my desk softly sobbing from this traumatic experience. Yeah, it always sucks when people just move stuff around and stuff isn't properly communicated. Maybe one thought one thing. I could have sworn I read those last 3 stories. But my brain is just like, I could have sworn I read them. But now I don't know if I read them. So it's like, they're open over here. Why would I still have them open if I read them already? So if I've read these stories previously already, I apologize. You guys will let me know. If not, maybe you just haven't seen the video and I don't know. This story is from Tales from Call Centers. Posted by user deleted. I quit. They had to hire 4 people to do my job. I work phone sales for a catalog company, bilingual Spanish to English. For the first several months, I take the Spanish calls and translate everything to the customer on the phone. While I took their order, I decided screw this and typed up my own little 2-page catalog in Spanish. All the most popular items, which I'd copy off and send to the customers. This was the 1990s. Over the space of a few months, this reduced my average call time from 5 minutes to 10 minutes per call down to 1 or 3 minutes. It also put me in the top 3 salesmen for the company for the 3 years I worked there. I kept telling management they were missing out, but they wouldn't pay attention. So I kept sending out my little rinky-dinky catalog and quadrupled the Spanish sales while nobody was looking. Management still didn't get it. A manager I'll call Helen, was a particular pain in the ass. And after a year, I packed up all my stuff, leaving just enough that it looked like I was coming back, signed with a temp agency, took my vacation, then called in sick until my sick days were done, fully intending to walk in the door and quit on my return. When I came back, Helen was gone. I changed plans and stayed with the company. A year later, and a manager I'll call Helga was causing me just as much pain as Helen ever did. I packed up all my stuff, signed with the temp agency, took my vacation. Well, you get the picture. I walked in the door, and Helga was gone, leaving me the snippiest, pettiest, most immature middle school drama-inspired parting letter I've ever seen. Wow, the fuck, Helga? I decided to stay. Another year went by, more drama It was a call center after all. I decided I finally had enough of being treated like a peon. The money was good. I was still top 3 in sales, but management was still blinder than the average bat and was now giving me a hard time about my tape Xerox mini catalog. Xerox was a very hard word for me to read because there were X's in my brain's just like, how do I read that word? I found a job a lot closer to home, gave them my 2 week notice, sent out the last of my catalogs. The two part-time Spanish speakers that were on staff were immediately overwhelmed, and one of them quit. They tried to hire several workers in the next few months, and most of them quit. A year later, they settled on a staff of 4 to do my job, and we're still trying to put together a Spanish version of the catalog. I went on with my life. 6 years later, the job I'd taken moved all of its production from Latin America to China, and as I didn't speak Chinese, I was let go. With a decent severance package. A friend of mine told me the original company was now a better place. I applied for my old job back. I walked in for my interview, and it was the shortest, easiest interview ever. This is just a formality. We really want you back. I worked there for another 4.5 years. Well, that's one way to, handle the situation. Personally, I had to do something similar at my old job. Because, it seems like certain jobs, the culture and stuff, they treat, their really good employees like crap because, they're really catty and shit and they don't do what they're supposed to do. So they heavily rely on the employees that are going to go a little bit above and beyond and try to help and make everything comfortable. And then when that doesn't work and that employee leaves, they're kind of screwed and they have to rush to hire so many people. When I worked at the arcade, my food and beverage manager constantly said that she could replace us at any moment at the drop of a dime. She really didn't care. And that just brought morale down a shit ton for our kitchen section. And, the day I quit, the beginning of that month, they had me come in every single day. I was supposed to have 2 days off, and I got called in on both my days off because they didn't schedule an opener. So they called me in, every single day to come. So I would close the store, leave at 3:30 in the morning. They would call me again at 10 a.m. to come in and open the store, to open the kitchen part. And then it just kept happening. And it was on and off the whole entire week. And nobody gave a fuck. And when I quit, even when I went back, everyone was just like, yeah, it was a dark day when you left. They were still struggling to keep anyone in that section. And we're really struggling to, keep the kitchen area working. Last I went there before the arcade closed, because it closed on December 4th, 2022. My friend was still working there, and she was the facilities. She worked facilities, so her job was essentially, if you don't know, was pretty much janitorial. She was supposed to go collect the trash bags, take them to the dumpster, clean the bathrooms, sweep the floor. That was what she was supposed to do. That was her only thing, but they had her putting away the groceries in the kitchen. You had several people up there. I saw at least 2 people in the kitchen and a manager. And you have this girl, yeah, she's been there longer than all of you. But her job title is not the kitchen. It is facilities. But they had her putting the food away, which was kind of unnerving because, you could the door to the kitchen was open. So you could stand in front of, to get your bowling tickets or to get whatever from the kitchen, and you can see the boxes of food just on the floor in front of an open freezer because they just left it on the floor for her to go and pick up and put it away to, open all the boxes, put the food away, and all that shit. So, yeah. And they were struggling. They wanted to keep her. They talked about possibly transferring her, whatever. They wanted to make her a manager or something. And she was just like, no, I can't deal with this no more. So yeah, don't be a fucking bitch. Your good employees won't leave. If you treat your employees differently, if you treat your employees better, they will stay. We don't leave crappy jobs. We leave crappy management. And sometimes we just leave really good managers because unfortunately the pay is just not enough. Like I did the math in Georgia, like for an average like one bedroom is like 1,200 a week. Like not 1,200 a week, but 1,200 a month. And you remember like that rule of you're only supposed to put like a quarter of your money, so it's like one whole paycheck towards your rent. Well, in order to do that, you would have to make at least, if say you were working the minimum 40 an hour. In order to do that, work 40 hours a week and be able to afford 1,200 a month on rent without utilities, gas, groceries, and all that, you would have to make at least $30 an hour. So, yeah. And that's if you stick to the rule of you're only supposed to put a quarter of your monthly income to your rent, especially if you're by yourself. But who also wants to split a room with several roommates because of blah blah blah? So, yeah, fucking bullshit. But thank you all for being here, for enjoying these stories. Hopefully, they weren't all stories I had read before. My brain can't quite recall. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. Click.